Hey everyone, welcome back. I've been working on getting caught up with the Energon Universe discussion videos, and with this one, we should be back on track. Today we're covering Cobra Commander number 4, which I actually enjoyed quite a bit more than the 4th issue of its companion series, Duke. While I still enjoyed Duke number 4, I feel like that issue was very much in service of moving Duke's story along in kind of a smaller way, while this chapter of Cobra Commander not only progresses the title character's story forward, but gives us a little more to chew on, stuff that will matter on a larger scale, perhaps. Energon is featured heavily in this issue, and this is the first title in the Skybound continuity to center it so thoroughly, which is exciting. I mean, it's called the Energon Universe, and we're roughly 10 months into this continuity, so after taking so much time with building up to this, it's satisfying to see the Energon component begin to take shape. The plot of issue 4 is fairly straightforward, with Nemesis Enforcer tearing through the Dreadnoks while Cobra Commander forces Ripper to reveal the location of the underground lab and scientist, both mentioned in issue 3. The Doctor, who remains curiously unidentified, is being held against his will, with the dialogue suggesting that he's being violently coerced into studying and experimenting on the Energon recovered from the swamps. The Doctor was tasked with figuring out how to create more Energon, which turns out to be something beyond his capability. Nevertheless, the Doctor has made serious strides in his research in other ways, learning how to not only convert raw Energon to a viable source of energy, but also devising a method to create a kind of less potent derivative by combining small amounts of Energon with other sources of radiation. We learn that the Doctor is responsible for the Energon cubes we've seen, and a demonstration allows Cobra Commander to supercharge his little insect drones, which turns out to be a lifesaver as Nemesis Enforcer turns on the Commander, revealing that his true directive from Cobra-La was to allow Cobra Commander to lead them to the Energon and then dispose of the human when he was no longer necessary. With his newly charged trinkets, Cobra Commander is able to form a kind of Iron Man glove and fire an Energon beam which appears to go straight through the Nemesis Enforcer's body, so yeah, that can't be good for your health. So long, Nemesis Enforcer. It was fun while it lasted. But hey, he got some pretty cool moments in this issue, at least. There's quite a bit of action crammed into this comic, and Andrea Milana gives Nemesis Enforcer an unforgettable presence in these pages. He's like this unstoppable horror movie monster during this issue, a hulking beast that the Dreadnoks can't compete with in terms of physical strength, but he's also rendered as being incredibly fast as well, particularly when in the air, and this is depicted to great effect by Milana in several instances, with the confrontation between Nemesis and the Commander being the strongest use, in my opinion. These blurry, distorted figures do quite a bit to convey a sheer sense of velocity that makes the beating that Cobra Commander takes feel that much more brutal and deadly. This panel is also a cool sequential depiction of Nemesis Enforcer's speed, where we see him preparing to lift off, followed by a completely distorted purple blob, and then a straight line leading to an image of him aloft in the air. This is an excellent example of how a static medium like comics can convey motion, and the fact that it isn't separated into individual panels makes the action seem that much quicker and more vicious in the reader's mind. Good stuff. But the Enforcer oozes presence when he's just standing there as well. He's an imposing, intimidating force of nature, and there's an extra layer of eeriness lent to him by the clever use of jagged word balloons that are colored to match the character's color scheme. I really like how this character was brought to life in this issue, and he got plenty of stuff to do here, so if this is the last we see of him, then it was a fitting send-off. I also like the contrast between the action scenes with Nemesis Enforcer and the exposition-heavy segments in the underground lab. This issue did a really good job of striking a balance between action and dialogue, which makes for a substantial and satisfying read. There's a nice juxtaposition of atmosphere and color palettes between these scenes as well that overall make this issue a treat to take in. And hey, would you look at that? All the named Dreadnoks are alive by the end of this issue. I was pretty glad to see that it was only the unnamed generic characters that wound up as part of this bloodbath. As I've mentioned before, these casualties set up the possibility of a potentially strained alliance with Cobra and the Dreadnoks, although now it's seeming more like the commander could spin the whole thing to his advantage, with the Dreadnoks, Mars, and Cobra coming together to take on a mutual adversary in the form of Cobra-La. I don't know, maybe that's not the direction the creators are going to go with it, but I have a feeling that Cobra Commander won't just let this betrayal go. I suspect he'll still follow through with his intention of raising an army and bringing it back to Cobra-La, but I'm guessing he'll be bringing said army back to conquer and depose Globulus, assuming that he ever had any other intention in the first place. Cobra Commander taking over Cobra-La would be an interesting angle, one that would be very different than how it was handled in the animated movies, so I wouldn't complain if that's how it shakes out. Time will tell if that's the route they're going to take, but whatever they do, I'm here for it. I'm enjoying this series more and more as it goes on, and I really love what they're doing with Cobra Commander as a character. The creative team earned a lot of goodwill from me with their choices last issue, and that continues here to the point where I don't really want this ride to end with the next issue. I know we'll see more of the Commander, but I'm enjoying my time with him so much that a part of me doesn't want the focus to shift to Destro when this miniseries comes to a close, which is crazy, right? Because Destro is awesome, and I'm sure there's plenty of cool stuff in the pipeline for that character as well. Better to leave them wanting more, right? In any case, there's a lot to look forward to here. We're starting to see how Cobra Commander and Destro are going to begin working together, as the Dreadnoks were going to start selling Energon to Mars Industries, which leaves me with the question, where are we at with the Alliance by the time we get to the timeline and Duke? Right now, it's unclear where the Cobra Commander series sits in relation to that 6-month time jump from Duke, but maybe the two titles are closer in terms of in-continuity timelines than we think. I'm skeptical that a deal has been struck by the time we see everything go down with Mars in the Duke miniseries, as issue 4 indicated that Destro still has an energy problem to solve, but maybe that's just because he's using the Doctor Substitute, which is a diluted form of Energon. I don't know, there are a few possibilities, but we should have a better idea soon. Hopefully, anyway. I like that we're finally getting some more stuff with Energon, and that there seems to be different flavors of Energon, if you will. Different types, maybe, with correspondingly different colors. Pink, blue, and even yellow based on what we see from Jetfire and Transformers #1, which might tie into Void Rivals. We'll just have to see. It's been a slow build to get to this point in regards to Energon itself, but I think it's going to be worth it, as I like what we've seen so far, but it still feels like we're only just scratching the surface, Still seems like there's plenty more that could happen yet. But that's all I've got for this one. Another solid issue, in my opinion. Anyway, what do you think about how all this is coming together? Share your thoughts in the comments, like, subscribe, all the usual stuff. As always, thank you for watching this video. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.